You are listening to All Burgundy and Go Errrything, powered by the Urban Sports Scene and Fox Sports Radio 96.9 FM and 1340 AM, Hopewell, Virginia. Your host are myself, Wole, and the homie Glenn. We also have Emmy Award sports personality and Holder sports own Lou Holder. What is going on, Lou?
It's a pleasure to be on Errrything.
Hey, Lou,
I finally made it, Mom. I'm on Errrything.
Oh my God, Lou, don't do this, because Ray was telling me about that. I was like, oh my God, my feelings were hurt. When Ray told me that Lou said he must have did something wrong when he was on last time, I couldn't get him back on. I was like, Ray, I didn't. That is not the case. Lou is one of our favorite guests. Don't do that to me.
It's a pleasure to be on.
Thanks, Lou. Thanks. Before we get into like our particulars and talking about how they folks can reach our podcast and whatnot, can you tell folks about your YouTube channel?
Yeah, I got this thing called everybody's doing one now. So I did this thing called the Holder Hangout, and it's taken off. You know, the equity that I've had in the market, people will talk to me, and I've been able to just get some really good content that is different than what you see from the press conferences and everything like that. You know, I like talking to players, and I know what questions to ask, and I do the lighter side of sports too during the season and stuff like that. So, but it's not just football. It's everything. It's some of my personal life too. It's just everybody's hanging out, so it works. But obviously I made my mark in this town covering the Burgundy and Gold for so many years, and 21 to be exact. So not many people in that building on the media end have been there as long as I have. Maybe John Keim and Rick Snyder.
You're longer than John Keim, though.
Yeah,
I feel like you're definitely longer than John Keim.
Yeah.
Right.
No, John Keim's longer than me.
Is he really? I feel like, okay. Maybe from what I used to watch. Okay.
But everybody else there has come after me. So I have a nice perspective from the team. My first year was when Steve Spurrier was here, and Patrick Ramsey, and Daryl Green. Daryl Green's last year was my first year. So I know this team. I know the history. So it's been fun. And these new group of guys, it's just been a breath of fresh air. These are kids now, so it's fun. But that's about me, the Holder Hangout, and it's growing. I know you both have subscribed, so I thank you.
Yes.
And it's just great. It's just great going out there and doing sports my way.
And I said this before we started recording. I said that you are a legend in this game in terms in this area. You are a legend in this market, and because I grew up watching you, you're in that group of like the Chick Hernandez, George Michael. When I was growing up watching sports, sports anchors. You're in that whole group, like for the guys I used to watch. Enjoyed watching too. So first time I met you, when I met you again, I was like, oh man, when I met you at the the Commanders game, I was like, oh, that's Lou Holder. I know Lou. I grew up watching Lou.
I appreciate that. So there's people that have been before me, like James Brown.
Of course, yeah.
My mentor, Stuart Scott, David Aldridge, all those people, passed the baton off to me. And I just promised everybody, and I want you all to do the same, that, when the baton is passed to you, don't drop it. Run with it and give it to somebody else. It's your turn. What you all are doing on the social media and the podcasting, just take it and run. I'm so proud of y'all.
Thanks,
because people poured into me. I'm pouring into you. You should pour into others, and that's how it works. So I appreciate the comments, and I'm even more appreciative that I gave this market, and still continue to give this market some valuable content to use. I'm not one of those people who are about the clicks or about that. I want to give people the stories. I want to give people good content. And I think I've earned my right to give people that content that way, and people seem to respond to it. So.
Oh, you earned it hands down. Hands down.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Definitely.
Hey, you can subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, Google Podcasts. Just search All Burgundy and go Errrything. Also tweet us at ABG_Errrything and hit us up on IG at ABG_Errrything. And like our All Burgundy and Go Errrything Facebook page. Make sure you subscribe to our All Burgundy and Gold Errrything YouTube channel as well. Let's get right into it. Minicamp, man. What a minicamp recap for the Washington Commanders. Lou, you were there in the building. So everything, in your opinion, who had the best camp?
Wow. Eric Bieniemy.
I like that answer. I like that answer. I like that answer a lot.
It's just coaches yelling at players is not a new concept. I mean, they've been doing it for years. We just haven't seen it here because Scott Turner wasn't like that. Ron Rivera isn't really like that. But Eric Bieniemy, you could hear him from the street, and he explained why you will hear from him from the street, because he enjoys football that much. And he knows that every moment of practice, you should be getting something out of.
Yes.
That's such a refreshing, energetic twist or turn in this culture chain of the Washington franchise, that he has had the best camp, because again, people are buying in. And how can you not buy in? I mean, how can you, after you get past the glare of the rings on his finger, how can you not buy in what is actually going on? So I don't think the best camp was from a player. I think the best camp was from a coach who is trickling down to the players, because to a man, all these players, they love it. They want to be challenged. They want to be good. I mean, who wants to not make the playoffs? These guys have more money than they know what to do with, but, competing for a championship, that really does matter. And when you have somebody that's come in who's done it, who's played in the last game of the season frequently in the last 3 or 4 years, but that only gets you so far. Like when you come into the building, what are you going to do? And in this mini camp, he's setting the tone. He pulled first team offenses off the field. He would yell at people, from the rookies all the way up to Terry and Jahan. And he'll yell at anybody, because at the end of the day, all this talent got you where?
Nowhere.
Not in the playoffs.
Nowhere.
So there's got to be a bar, and only somebody who has been at that bar can actually raise it. And clearly, the 85 Bears and Ron Rivera is only going to go so much. This guy, Eric Bieniemy, is right there, like recently, like January, February of this year.
Yes.
Right.
So they're gonna buy into that. So that's my thoughts. I think that it's a coach rather than a player or group of players.
So I guess even with that, because you covered this team for so many years. Who, I guess, is there any coach that you've seen over the time you covered that's kind of matched that intensity with Eric Bieniemy?
Oh, Greg Williams.
There you go. I need to. Okay, that's my guy. Okay. I was waiting on that. Okay, that's what I was thinking about.
Greg Williams. Greg Williams was that on the defense, what Eric Bieniemy is on the offense.
Wow.
But Greg Williams had Sean Taylor.
Yeah.
Who is, Defoe, St. Juice, Forbes, all of them wrapped into one. That's how a freak of nature Sean Taylor was.
So true.
But finally, we have a defense. This team has a defense now, a back that matches the front. And we hasn't happened around here since Sean. When Ronaldo Wynn and Philip Daniels and all them were here, they were a pretty respectable Cornelius Griffin. They were a pretty Andre Carter. They were a pretty significant, and they were a decent front.
They were.
And Sean just he hit a lot of mistakes. He could play anywhere. He could play anywhere. And so now with them going defense, their first 2 picks with Forbes and Martin, you can tell that they are trying to turn over that ball and give Eric Bieniemy the shortest field possible to do whatever he wants to do, whenever he wants to do it, and with whichever quarterback he decides he wants to use. I'll rephrase that. Whatever quarterback
I heard you. You got me.
Yeah,
you know,
he
decides
I got
to
you.
use.
I got a segue for that
All right.
too. So I got a segue for that. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, which quarterback gives you the most confidence? Brissett, Sam Howell?
I mean, Brissetti's played in the league.
Okay.
I mean, he's played in the league.
Okay.
I mean, he was playing better than Deshaun Watson when Deshaun Watson came back in Cleveland last year.
True. This is true.
Eric Bieniemy wanted him here. That's all you need to know. Eric Bieniemy wanted him here.
Right.
Sam Howell is going to get the first shot. But even Ron Rivera said, you know, he's the QB1 until he's not the QB1.
Okay.
That's not a slight on Sam. That's
Not
just
at all,
saying,
not at
hey,
all.
look,
You
you
gotta earn
know, it's supposed to be a competition.
Right.
If it's not a competition, then what's going on? Everybody should be in the competition.
True.
Right? So whatever gives you the best chance to win, and Jacoby Brissett looks good. Well, one thing is clear between Howell and Fromm and Brissett, the balls are getting in there. It's not Carson Wentz where things were flying all over the place, over people's heads and stuff like that. I mean, balls are right there.
Yeah.
Balls are right there. So that's a good thing, you know.
Okay.
So I just feel, again, the schedule is going to be tough. That schedule is going to be tough. But they have weapons. They had 5-6 guys go to the Pro Bowl last year. It's not like the Washington franchise is an embarrassment.
Yeah.
It just was not coached well.
Agreed.
And I'm sorry, Scott Turner was a lot of the problem. You know, I don't want to dance around the issue. The elephant in the room is Scott Turner.
Groove to it. Don't dance, groove to it.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah,
dance,
groove
groove to it.
Scott Turner had a lot of us in the press box every week like, what?
Huh?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that
had us like that too. Don't worry about
it.
So you know, I just feel that the imagination that Eric Bieniemy has, that can have, because, you know, Jahan Dotson was back there returning punts. He has people in the slot. I mean, it's going to be crazy out there. It's going to be insane. He's got people that can do multiple things. And the happiest group of people in the room is that tight end core, because you know what they do with tight ends.
Yes, true. Very true.
Andy Reid did it with, you know, Zach Ertz and whatever in Philly, and then Travis Kelce. Yeah. I mean, that's what they do. So Cole Turner, Logan, Amani Rodgers was a huge blow because he was really coming into his own. But that tight end is going to be used a lot, and they're happy. I mean, in one of my interviews with Cole Turner, he's like, they are so happy to have him there because they know they're going to get the ball.
You know, Lou, you mentioned about a competition. How has the competition between the coaching staff stepped up with Eric Bieniemy bringing the energy?
Oh yeah, he raises it, you know, and the thing though, he's more than just a coordinator. He's the assistant head coach. So he's got 2 titles, you know, and it's not a title for wallpaper. I mean, it's a working title. He's the assistant head coach. Ron Rivera is letting him run practice. You know, so I think the competition is just you got to raise the level. So especially with Jack, right, Del Rio, because I mean they went defense the first 2 picks. Instead of addressing that offensive line, which I think they should have. I would have loved that kid from Florida. And so there's some other people that I thought that would have been better. But they're to answer your question, I think everybody loves the competition. I think everybody loves the competition. You know, when they're doing the drills, the defense is fired up, the offense is, I mean, this is minicamp. This is minicamp. I think the word is, if you pour true serum into everybody who is out there and ask them the one word that you can say is universal throughout all media members and fans out there, is energy.
Yeah.
Energy. There was a lack of it this time last year. We were introduced to Carson Wentz. Taylor Heineke was the feel-good story.
Oh, yeah.
And the offensive line, no one really was too confident about. And we knew the defense was going to be okay, but Chase was hurt. You know, there was a lot of things going on. This year, Payne is signed. Chase and Montez are playing for contracts now. They want to be hungry. You get Forbes, who, you know, night in, night out in the SEC, he was holding his own. And he's doing great things out there. Plus the Pro Bowlers that you already had. I think it's just energy. There's just a lot of energy out there.
There's something you said that I kind of want to go back on. You said that Coach Rivera lets Eric Bieniemy like run practice, like he runs practice.
He structures it. Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
wow.
The stuff that's going on there, Eric Bieniemy has a lot to say to how things are going, and Ron Rivera wanted that.
Okay.
You know, Ron Rivera wanted a change. He's more of a supervisory role now, right? And that's not all bad, because Eric Bieniemy, I mean, from the offensive side, from the defense,
but still running it. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, the structure of the practice, that clearly is not Ron, because I didn't see that last year. I didn't see that. I didn't see that last year. So, I didn't see that last year.
You know, that's what
again, I feel it's like,
interesting.
You know, you can't celebrate Ernie Grunfeld for getting rid of Gilbert Arenas when he brought Gilbert Arenas in here. Right? You don't get credit for getting rid of somebody that you brought in, right?
Gotcha.
So Ron brings in Scott Turner, who has never been a coordinator before, works with him and everything like that, and he gets rid of him. You don't get like, woohoo, great job, Ron.
Not at all. I agree.
You don't get that. I mean, you don't get points for bringing in somebody and then finding a way to get them out, right?
Right.
So Ron knows he needs to just change everything. And again, with the new ownership group coming in, as soon as maybe July 20th, I hear that's the date, July 20th or August 8th. One of those two dates, the owners have been told to make themselves available for whatever. You know, you got to have a good change. And I don't think any ownership group was going to come in high on Scott Turner.
Not at all. Not at all. Glenn, you had a question? I
was going to say, you know, with the, I don't think anybody was high on Ron Rivera neither. Do you think Ron, being in the managerial role, understands that his days in Washington may be numbered?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about numbered. I mean, he might find another spot in the front office or something like that. Maybe as the head coach or whatever. I mean, a lot of us think that Eric Bieniemy should be a head coach at some point.
Agreed.
So whether it's here, whether it's a placeholder, what have you, again, Ron Rivera is still going to be the ultimate speaking head for the team. Again, he's the one who speaks to the media. There's no joint press conference with Eric Bieniemy and as an assistant head coach and Ron Rivera. No, it's Ron. Ron is still doing all the talking. Ron is still organizing everything like that, as far as the liaison between the franchise and the media and external partners and everything like that. I give Ron a lot of credit, though. Again, a lot of people might be frustrated with him. But, you know, part of what I did this last year with the Holder Hangout is I interviewed a lot of national people, from Stacey Dales to Mike Tirico to everybody who came in here. And to a person, everybody said the thing that is the most legitimate with the Washington Commanders is Ron Rivera. He's that respected throughout the league. You know, and anybody coaching under Dan Snyder gets a pass.
This is true.
It was a hard job. I mean, it was a hard job for Gibbs. It was a hard job for Shanahan. It was a hard job for Gruden. I mean, it's just a hard job. And everybody out in the league, when they say you're coaching at Washington, you get a pass. I mean, this man battled cancer. His mom died,
Yeah,
and
this is true.
he's still up there. You might not like, but what was the alternative?
This is
Please
true.
tell me over the last 3 or 4 years, what was the alternative?
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Still, what is the alternative? We don't know. We don't know if Andy Reid was running all the plays and it wasn't Eric Bieniemy. We got to find out.
Yeah, but to find out.
We got to find out. But while we're doing that, again, the stabilization through all of that name change and all of the stuff that was going on, the stability in that organization for all it could be, man, I give Ron Rivera an A, B, an A, a B. Because the stuff he had to go through while fighting cancer and the death of his mom and everything like that.
I agree.
Professional.
Yeah.
Professional. You might not like his coaching.
Yeah,
and again, when you get into the public eye like that, people don't like your podcast. Not everybody likes Errrything.
You're right. Sure, I know that.
Right. So when you're in the public eye, not everybody's gonna like you. Not everybody's gonna agree with you, right? But when it came to matter between those players, the media, and what happened, he made a lot of mistakes. He fessed up to the mistakes. He never dodged. There's all those things about, he didn't know that he could have been out of the season, and there's other things. Okay, all right, so he didn't know, right? But at the end of the day, I don't. There was. You could have had Urban Meyer.
No.
Could have had Urban. You could have had Chip Kelly.
Oh no, these are bad. These are horrible. Those are just,
I could run down a list of people that if you replaced them and would you have wanted that person or Ron Rivera?
Oh, Rivera in a second over those guys.
So I think he knows that his time to be a head coach from Carolina to now, I think that all these coaches know that there's an expiration date to them being a head coach and then having to move on. I don't know what the new ownership group is going to say. I do know this. They better be competitive because they have all the tools that they need. Their first pick in the draft was Eric Bieniemy. It wasn't Forbes.
Yeah.
I agree.
I agree.
Forbes was their second pick in the draft, right?
I totally agree.
So they went offense and big time structural the first pick, and then they got 2 defensive. And I actually think Quan Martin is going to end up being the better of the whole class because when it comes to week 8, 9, 10, and people go down, Quan Martin can play every position back there. He's a Swiss Army knife.
Okay.
Right? And you're going to need that. You're going to need that. So I like what they did. As far as picking up those 2 guys. But now the defense has no excuse. The offense is going to be significantly better just because of who's running it. And our special teams, I think, of one person that really caught my eye and caught a lot of people's eyes is Casimir Allen. Casimir Allen from UCLA. He might be the answer at kick returning. And I think you might see Jahan Dotson back there too. He did that at Penn State as well.
Yes, he did.
Please, no more.
Dax, boy.
No more Dax. Just no more. I can't do it. I can't personally do it. But there's a guy that Glenn likes a lot. Well, I'm being funny, Glenn. Glenn likes a lot. And Chase Young, you mentioned Chase Young. How does Chase Young look?
No pads on. He looks energetic like everybody else. I think he just wants to get to work. Clearly he's in the same position that Deron Payne was in last year. They're gonna make him earn it. He's got to produce. They got to get home. Him and Montez Sweat. I agree. They got to get home. They got to get home. So I think he looks good. I think his answers were very short, as we expected when they came to the podium. Because he doesn't really want to talk about it. He just wants to. I think the best bite that I heard, a lot of us heard the entire camp, was Jonathan Allen talking about the business of football. It's a great sport or a horrible business. And he went into, just everything that goes on with these contract negotiations. So we'll see what happens. I think that, again, man had an injury. A man had a significant injury.
Yeah.
And not to a shoulder, I mean to a knee joint.
Knee.
You know, so we shall see. We shall see.
So, hey, Glenn, do you have a question?
No, I'm
Follow
good.
up for Chase? Okay, because I
No, no,
asked
you
him
know,
Chase.
I'm not on Chase wagon yet. Till I see-
Okay, all right. I was say because I know.
look,
I was making sure
look,
because look.
I'll be
Glenn is
I'll be riding. Look,
him
y'all
and
know
Chase are like not
Chase,
friends.
every week I ride Chase Young. I ride Chase Young because I think he has great potential, but I think also that he freelances enough. He freelances too much that his technique is not sound, and it puts Washington in position that is not that are not good. And the defense excelled last year without him. So to me, he has to be hungry this year to earn that money because they showed they can do it without him.
That's true. That's true. That's true. And I guess if you polled a lot of people, guess the same true serum again, if you polled a lot of people, there would be a significant amount of people that would choose Montez over Chase. You know,
I think that's fair though.
In who to pay or who to who to put stock into.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. Chase is playing for a lot.
I will say this about what you just said because and it's not nothing against Chase because Glenn knows I like Chase, but I will say this though, and I've said this even when Chase was drafted, and even that season, and though it was rookie of the year, defensive rookie of the year, so it was a great season for him. But I always thought that Montez had more of an upside to me. Like I've always felt like Montez has similar speed, runs a 4.3, large man, long arms. I've always felt that Montez has so much ability to be not just one of the best pass rushers, but the best pass rusher. So I always felt like Montez, if I had to choose between two, if you force me to choose between the two, and again, it's no knock on Chase, I think Chase is a phenomenal talent too. I would choose Montez though. And there's not a knock on Chase. I feel like both of them are elite talents. If you had to tell me, Wole, are you choosing between one of those two, it would be Montez. And because they're both young too. So
and I think a lot of it, and this is just part of reality. I think a lot of it is where the person was drafted.
I agree. I totally agree. Yeah.
I mean, if you're drafted as high as Chase Young was drafted, you're looking for that robust, game-changing, type of aura. Not what Glenn said that, they did it without him. This is one of those things that if you're that high, it's like, we need Chase back type of thing. And for Glenn and many others to say that, I think that what goes into the argument that, wow, he was picked that high and we didn't really miss him that much, or didn't miss him enough that we would have made the playoffs if he was playing defense.
Yeah.
Right. I think that goes into the argument as well. If you're putting everything together as a composite, I think it's where you were drafted as well as the productivity in that first year, like you said, Wole, that people are saying, you know what? Montez is, wasn't picked as high, he's hungry, has similar skill set. All these publications were saying with edge rushers, Montez is up there.
Yeah.
So I think that goes into it too, where you would, how high you were drafted.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And when you're not drafted as high and your skill level is just as good, it becomes a pleasant surprise.
I agree.
Totally agree. Terry McLaurin is a pleasant surprise. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got
if Emmanuel Forbes goes out and does it, he's supposed to do that.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Right. Yes.
He's supposed to do that.
Yes.
Supposed to.
Right. But if Jared Patterson makes the squad and does some Darryl Sproles type of stuff, you would be like, wow, that's the kind of stuff that you're surprised and we need him on the team or stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's all the human nature as well, as far as how high people are drafted and then the productivity.
Right.
Yeah, I totally agree. So Louis, another question too for you is that we're talking about all our positives in camp though, but who was a player that gave you the they need to step up kind of vibe, or they need to step up or they out of here?
That's a good one. I think everybody on the offensive line, to be
Ooh,
quite honest.
okay. Okay.
I mean, Leno didn't come until it was. I think all of them have to step up.
Got you. Okay.
I think all of them have to step up. Well, I can't think of anybody
Well, that's a good thing
significant.
then.
I
That's a
think
good
it's
thing.
I think it's a group of people,
Mhm.
not one individual.
Okay.
Now,
Yeah.
obviously, some of those offensive linemen, those defensive linemen that are not named Young and Allen and
And Payne.
Payne
Mhm.
and Sweat.
Mhm.
All those guys like David Bada and some other people, you would say, yo, you want them to step up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't really think of that's how competitive this team is
This
right
is good
now.
though. That's a good thing though. That's a good thing. Because
And
usually there's
and and
one, there's a
and
few.
I want you to ask me that same question after they scrimmage the Ravens
Oh, you're
in
right.
a
Yeah.
couple of
Yeah. Yeah.
months.
Yeah. I like
Because
that.
right now it's just a whole bunch of yelling and
Uh-huh.
screaming and installation of stuff
Uh-huh.
that I don't it's too early to tell right now. I
Uh-huh.
really wouldn't be giving it good justice to say, this person needs to step up
Uh-huh.
in June, right?
Right.
Uh-huh.
I think when they come back, how much they've retained when July 27th comes around, and then when they scrimmage the Ravens and have that stuff with the Ravens, I think then we'll be able to have that same conversation, and I will be able to tell you significantly and emphatically who needs to step up,
Uh-huh.
right?
I-
And then it
That's fair.
will be apparent because rosters will have to be pared down.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's going to be a lot of good talent that's not going to be on that 53-man roster, which is a good thing. Which is a good thing.
Okay.
Which is a good thing.
So okay, so then how? Because this is a guy I always root for, and then this guy I root for. How does De'Ami Brown look? Does he look okay?
Looks okay.
He looks okay. Okay.
Yeah, he looks okay. They all just look okay.
Okay.
Nobody really stands out,
Got you.
except the offensive coordinator. He stands out.
Of course.
He stands out, and he's elevating everybody's game.
Mm,
And I think a lot of people would agree with me.
yeah.
It's about the installation right now.
Mm,
I really want to know how this Cam Curl contract thing is going to work out.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
I just, I'm rooting for Benjamin St. Juice to stay healthy.
Yeah.
And Defoe is just a stud. And, I just think I don't know. I don't see anybody who's in danger of when training camp start, this person's on the hot seat. We're going to be looking at you from day one.
Mm,
Got you.
okay.
I
Did
just
you see
don't
any
see it.
mature? Did you see any maturity out of? I know he was hurt. I don't know if he did anything. Did any maturity out of Jamin Davis?
He was hurt.
Yeah.
You know what? If you go back, well, this is just according to Jack. If you go back to that question you asked me, who needs to step up,
Yeah.
I think it would be Jamin Davis as being one of them. Now that I have to revisit that,
Okay.
only because Kalik, and there's a
Hudson.
couple Hudson, and there's a
Yeah.
couple other people. But again, this defense doesn't really. I don't know. I don't think this defense really predicates too much on the linebackers as much as other
Nah, they
defenses
don't.
do.
It's true.
But they hide it. They kind of mask it. But he's very adamant. This is being Jack Del Rio that Jamin Davis in year number 3 needs to have many more I know what I'm doing plays versus what the heck is going on plays. He said that.
Wow.
He said that. And he's been on him since
Oh yeah, since day one.
Yeah.
I know.
since day one.
I know.
Day one.
Since day one, they've been on him.
Yeah.
The guy
So
has
and he as a military kid,
Yeah.
he kind of wants that. He
Okay.
kind of wants people to get in his grill like that. So I thought it was a little over the top.
Me too. I thought so too.
But when you interview him, he's like, no problem. It's just you got to know what buttons to push with what players. And with that particular player, saying that really doesn't really bother him. It actually fuels him. And he actually played well in some spots last year.
I thought so too. I thought he improved big time.
I thought he grew up he grew up in the middle last year. I mean, when he went back into the inside linebacker, he grew up, and you could see after about week 3, week 4, where he was making mistakes with the running back or covering running back early on in the season, that he improved in that aspect of his game a lot throughout the season. So you can see the growth that Jamin Davis had. And I agree with Jack. 3rd year, you remember back to you said draft position, right? He was drafted. Jamin Davis was drafted high, so he's expected to be at a high level because of his position.
Yeah, that was his fault though. That was the team. They shouldn't have drafted him that high.
Regardless
That's
of who fault,
I like Jamin. I like Jamin. I thought they could have got Jamin in the second round. That's a whole different. That's a whole different discussion.
And now with Holcomb gone, I mean, it is Jamin's time to step up.
Yes, it is.
For however much that linebacker is used, it's time for him to make that move in year 3. And I agree. I mean, I don't really fault Jack for saying that. I think that it's just status quo. That's how he feels about this player. He's going to ride him. He's going to ride him. If you're going to ride him from day one, he's been consistent, and Ron's been the same. They want a lot out of that middle line, that linebacker position. And they're waiting for Jamin to have solid games, stringing them together. So
he's capable. He should be able to do it. I think he's capable. He has all the ability to do that. So I definitely believe that. Hey Lou, this has been like dope. Before we let you go, how can folks catch you on social media? I want you to repeat the YouTube channel, everything. Put it all out there.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. So it's Holder Hangout on YouTube, Holder Sports on Twitter, Lou_Daddy on Instagram. Just trying to keep up with y'all on these social media stuff, man.
Keep up, you doing it. Don't stop saying that stuff. You're keeping up, you doing it. Don't say keep up, you doing it.
Look, hold on. You got multiple podcasts going. I mean, you are. I mean, I was confused. Which one am I on? You know what I'm saying? Like, I love it. I love it. I love it. You had to break it down for me, and I love that. So, again, this space is it's great when it's used correctly. I mean, obviously, I went to school for this, and there are a lot of people on here that did not go to school for this and are just getting on there and just saying whatever. But then there's quality ones like yourself that are really refreshing. And again, I'm all about the next generation, Stuart Scott, I'll never forget what Stuart Scott told me when I got started in the business. He said, the best way you can thank me is to do it for somebody else.
That's amazing.
I'll never forget that. I was working up in Connecticut, and I met him, and he was mentoring me, and he was saying about I should be myself and things like that. And I was like, Stuart, thank you so much. Then when I got the job down in DC and I left, we had lunch, and he was just telling me some tips that he was always told to just be yourself.
Yeah.
Be yourself and always pour back into somebody else. So which is kind of cool that I'm teaching now. I'm teaching at the community college here in Prince George's County.
Love it.
And raising up the next level of sportscasters or broadcasters. I'm always trying to give back. So, that's what I'm doing. Still doing my media stuff, but always looking for an opportunity to pour into somebody so they can take it and run and pour into somebody else.
I do want to say this, like in terms of what you're doing at PG Community College. I think that's a great thing. It's a beautiful thing, to be honest with you, because I went to school in the field, and I just remember having a professor who was in the field too. She was in the field. She was retired from it, and like a person with your knowledge is so much. It's so insightful for those kids and so uplifting, and it gives them something to reach for and to hold on to. And I just think a person like you is very important for any student in that school. To be honest with you, for any of your students, I'm serious. I'm serious about that too.
Yeah, and I'm also doing it at Bishop McNamara High School.
Oh, that's awesome. That's the best.
That's awesome.
That's the best, man. That's the best. I'm serious because I just feel like, especially even just being a young Black man or a young Black woman who could just get that insight from somebody who's done it before, and and know they can touch you and talk to you off hours and this, that, and the other. You can't beat that.
Knowledge is key.
Yeah, I just feel that that's, what God is asking me to do or
Uh-huh.
telling me to do with this portion of my life. I have my Emmy Awards, I got my stuff.
Uh-huh.
I just want the Wale's, and I want you all to get yours. I want you all to experience getting your name called as an Emmy Award
Thank
winner.
you.
Yeah.
I want that. I'm good friends with Ryan Clark, and he just got his first Emmy
Oh my
Award,
God,
and
yeah.
we're talking, and I'm just like, because I told him, because he's my fraternity brother. I said, yo, you definitely should put stuff together. So we got the people at ESPN. It was already in the works, but he got the ESPN people to push it, and he got his first Emmy Award. And I was like, yo,
Oh
that's going to be
man,
the first of many.
of many.
Yeah.
I
And
agree.
we were
Of
talking,
many.
and I was like, that's what it's all about, to see other people experience that joy. So that's where I am in life.
Oh, yeah. And you're doing good work. And
Good work.
it's
Good
just
work.
doing great
Definitely
work,
good work.
man. I appreciate you. I just want you to know I appreciate you.
Yep. Sure, definitely.
Hey, this has been dope. Hey, also, folks, don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, and Google Podcasts. Just search All Burgundy and Gold Errrything. Also, tweet us at ABG_Errrything, and hit us up on IG at ABG_Errrything, and like our All Burgundy and Gold Errrything Facebook page. Do not forget, please, folks, do not forget to subscribe to our All Burgundy and Gold YouTube channel. We just need some more subscribers. We're trying it. You know what I'm saying? We out here. Just keep supporting us. We appreciate you all. Hey, Lou, we appreciate you, man, so much. Thank you so much again.
Thank you, Lou.
You've been listening to All Burgundy and Gold Errrything, powered by the Urban Sports Scene and Fox Sports Radio 96.9 FM and 1340 AM. Hopewell, Virginia, 4 ages. You dig? Deuces. Hey, Mega, lead us out, big homie.